before 2 months, I think, yeah. And yeah, it was nice. Just it's need me talk about something a political issue more than the culture, you know.
Well, no, we would like to talk about both issues because this interview will be screened in an event organized within the anti-colonial week we have each year in France.
Okay.
So it's both political and but the artistic aspect is very important too. So, well, maybe sometime you can call Tobasi, or maybe if we all think that we should go on with the artistic aspect, another time we can do that. So let's start.
No, it's okay. We can talk both. I mean, I can ask him to just to prepare himself for that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well,
could I ask him about that?
Yes.
Just a minute.
Okay. Do that. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Before going to the event, how are you? Everything is okay?
Yes, yes.
How are you, Sabine?
What did you say?
How's Sabine? I say hi to Sabine.
She's fine. We had a meeting last night, an online meeting, and she was there, and Marie-Jo was there, and everything is sending.
I like to just to inform you before everything about the condition, the situation of the Freedom Theater in this time. We restructuring. I mean, we build a new structure of the Freedom Theater, and we depend on the concept of a freelancer. I mean, we don't have the same numbers of employees after this month. We asked the employees to find another job because we faced a lot of a problem, and you know that a lot of problem in funding. For that, we asked the employees. Unfortunately, we asked them to leave. It's unfortunately, and it's good for the Freedom Theater to have a healthy body to continue by good way. And me and Tobasi as a general director or general manager, and he's an artistic director with an accountant now, we continue together to build the program. We include for sure the freelance like Ranin Audi as a child and youth program. For example, Faisal Abu Heja as a comedian and actor to work in theater school. We asked some freelancer to documentation and work in this issue. I will answer this phone. Sorry, I need to answer this phone. Hilal, a big discussion at the Freedom Theater. We decided that's good for us to continue because already we don't have SIDA, Sweden. They decide to stop their fund, depend on the political condition and the EU, the situation with EU. In the same time, that's not mean we don't have money. I mean, already I make big contact with the friends in the US, with the big organization in the US. Sorry, رشا بحياتك اتصل على اياد ابعتي لي اياد لهلال انا بالاجتماع كثير مشغول. يلا باي. Sorry, yeah, it's from my home. And now we collect some money, but that will go direct to the project, not for core fund, for running cost, I mean. And we deal with that issue. And we're happy, in fact, to make something like a big decision. It's like a revolution, interior revolution about some projects, about some program. Already, sometimes we don't have money for those programs like multimedia. Unfortunately, we can't get money for multimedia because we are not a specialist in visual arts. We are, we are specialists in performing arts more than. Anyway, we continue, and I like to share that with you. And I sent it to you, Sonia, and the friends in France to ask you about your support to the child and youth. If you have something, I know you faced a lot of problems in this year to collect money, but I just because I prepare for the cash flow of 2021 and about what we can do. I know it's not the main subject now. We can talk about that later, but I just mentioned for that in the beginning. I just like to inform you we are continue, the theater school continue. now we prepare ourselves for a new play in February. It's called Kufiya, made in China.
Okay.
Nice.
Just a second, because we were going to ask you questions about all this. So I just wanted to tell you that we are the two of us here, Sophie and myself, and we are going to try to mix French and English, because this will be presented to people who don't understand English. So I will ask you questions in English and in French, and Sophie will ask you to stop talking after 2 or 3 sentences, and then so she can translate, because we're not doing simultaneous translation. So what you just said.
Okay, this is Tobasi.
Excuse me?
Just this is Tobasi. Just I will. This is Tobasi. Tobasi. بدي احكي لك انه الاجتماع مع الفرنسيين راح ينقسم لك اسمين، انا راح احكي فيه شيء وانت راح تحكي فيه شيء. حبيبي لا بس اسمع، هي القصه بسيطه، انا بدي احكي عن الاشياء المتعلقه بالبوليتيكال، انت راح تحكي اكثر عن بس لما تيجي يعني بدي اشوف شو بدي احكي، ممكن يكون تمام او مش تمام. بس يعني قصدي بدنا نقسمه لك اسمين، بدناش نكون مع بعض، نكون كل واحد لحال يعني احسن. لا ما انا هم معهمش وقت اصلا. يلا روح. باي. Okay, come on. Yalla. Your question, first question.
Yeah, well, before the first question, I just wanted to add what you just said is very important, and very important for us to know among Athée and Jénine. But maybe this was not given to the public. So the first question is, good evening, Mustafa. You are the general director or the executive director of the Freedom Theatre in the refugee camp of Jénine, and we are the friends of the Freedom Theatre in France. And tonight, within the anti-colonial week, it's the opening night of the anti-colonial week in France. So we are very happy to start this week with you. And I want to ask as the first question, what is the reason for the Freedom Theatre to exist? And I will say this in French for the people listening. La première question que je pose, après avoir salué la présence de Mustafa Sheta, le directeur exécutif du Freedom Théâtre, qui va être accompagné dans un moment par Ahmed Tobasi, qui est le directeur artistique. Je pose la question, je leur indique que nous sommes dans la soirée d'ouverture de la semaine anticoloniale et antiraciste en France. Et la première question que je leur pose, c'est pourquoi le théâtre de la liberté de Jénine existe? Quelle est la raison pour son existence? On va écouter sa réponse en anglais et Sophie va traduire en français. Go ahead. Please.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this invitation to be part of this important event for the Palestinian and for talk about the colonialism and about the occupation in general. The idea of the exist of the Freedom Theatre, it's related with the occupation. It's related with the colonialism. To fight and face this concept and this idea against the humanity in general. The idea starts with the Arna Mer Khamis, the Jewish woman. She was come from Russia to be here with the Zionist group in Palestine, and she was, as a young fighter, she came here to establish a new area in Palestine. And after that, she discovered what the conflict mean here in the Palestinian land. From that, that means that the idea of the Freedom Theatre depend on the conflict, the core of the conflict, about the person. If you think about why I am here and what I want to do in this land. As a person, he come out of Palestine and to occupy this area. He don't know anything about us, about the culture in general, about the Arab culture in general, and discover that's not good for the humanity to continue as a occupation. Arna, she decided to change her mind and to change everything and stand with the Palestinian after her discovery. I don't want to go long and deeply for her history.
Can I translate you now?
A second so that Sophie can translate.
It's very important. Donc, au début, le théâtre, le Freedom Theater a commencé avec Arna, qui venait de Russie et qui était venu combattre pour le sionisme en Palestine. Une jeune femme qui voulait se battre, mais qui ne savait rien de la terre où elle arrivait. Et elle s'est rendue compte une fois en Palestine que ce qui se passait là-bas, donc la cause qu'elle défendait, n'était pas bonne pour l'humanité. Mustafa, you can go on now.
Okay. And during the first Intifada, the first popular resistance in '87, Arna, she decided to come to Jénine, and this is now we talk about why we are working theater in general. You know, the Palestinians, they use different tools for to get their liberation. Military clashes and direct clashes with Israel, and after that the negotiation peace process. And unfortunately, we can get our liberation depend on those two ways. The idea of culture, it's help the person or help the Palestinian to take a new opportunity or take a new tools or new let me see method to get to think about the concept or the idea of liberation.
Okay, please. This is important too. Donc, au moment de la première intifada en 1987, le combat des Palestiniens s'est déroulé sur le plan militaire. Il y a eu des heurts entre Israël et le peuple palestinien, puis des négociations, et les Palestiniens espéraient arriver à une victoire sur ce plan-là, puis se sont rendus compte que ce n'était pas possible et qu'il fallait trouver une nouvelle voie. Et la culture a offert un nouvel outil, de nouveaux instruments pour réaliser, pour développer une résistance face à l'occupant israélien. Go on.
Okay. So depend on that. I mean, depend on all of these items. As a Palestinian, I mean, depend on all these items. As a Palestinian, they are on from long time under occupation. From long time, we don't have a space. The Arna, in her first work, in her first project in Jénine, she come here to find a creative space for children and for youth, just to talk about themselves, just to give the people their stories and inform about what they believe and what about their dreams. That's before the Freedom Theater. I mean, here we talk about more than 30 years, not just about the time of the establishment of the Freedom Theater in 2006. We talk about '89, with the first play at the Freedom Theater. It's called The Little Lantern. It's directed by Giuliano Merkhamis and wrote it by Ghassan Kanafani.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll try and translate. Sonia, tu n'hésiteras pas à me corriger si je me trompe parce que l'histoire est importante. Le premier projet d'Arna en 1989 a été de créer un espace pour les enfants, pour que les gens, donc d'abord les enfants, puissent penser à eux-mêmes, penser à leur propre avenir. Et le premier espace qui a été créé s'appelait la Petite Lanterne. Pour que les gens puissent penser à eux-mêmes face à l'occupation. Mustafa?
So the Freedom Theater being here to answer the many questions about what we need and how we need our I mean here it's come here to answer some questions about the Palestinian exist here in Palestine, and about rethink about the conflict, about the enemy, about how we can fight, about the importance of education, about the importance for conflict transformation, all of these issues. And in simple words, the Freedom Theater exists to help the children, to help the new generation to find themselves by a different way, not traditional or traditional ways.
Je veux juste... Sophie, pardon. Je veux juste ajouter, avant que Sophie traduise ce que fait le théâtre et quel est son rôle. Tout à l'heure, Mustafa a présenté la transition à partir de l'œuvre de Arna Merhamis. Ça a été ensuite son fils, Juliano Merhamis, qui a été le fondateur avec d'autres, Hassan Ranafani et d'autres personnes, Dror Fahler, etc. Ils ont fondé le théâtre qui s'est appelé donc maintenant le Théâtre de la Liberté, Freedom Theatre, en 2006. Et maintenant, je te laisse la parole, Sophie, pour la suite de la traduction.
Oui, donc le but initial de toute cette démarche était de répondre à des questions importantes et que les personnes impliquées identifient leurs propres besoins, sachent qui était l'ennemi, que faire et comment combattre l'ennemi pour aboutir à une transformation et aider la nouvelle génération à trouver de nouveaux chemins qui n'étaient pas forcément les chemins traditionnels. Mustafa?
Yeah.
Can you go on, please?
Maybe we now will go to the present time, no? Mustafa, what do you think? Because after the historic part that you explained, you were already speaking of what you're doing, what the significance of the theater is. So I'd like to ask you a second question. Je vais passer maintenant à une deuxième question qui est très actuelle pour le Théâtre de la Liberté, qui a perdu beaucoup de financement à cause de problèmes politiques dont je ne vais pas entrer dans les détails, mais je pense que la partie historique était intéressante pour certains d'entre vous qui regardaient ce soir et qui ne connaissent pas toute cette histoire de résistance. Mais il y a aussi maintenant, on va passer à la situation présente et donc avec des coupures de crédit venant d'une part de la Suède, qui était un des principaux soutiens financiers du Théâtre de la Liberté, et de l'Union européenne, le Théâtre de la Liberté se trouve dans une situation financière très difficile, mais il a continué ses activités et je veux demander maintenant à Mustafa comment ils ont fait, notamment dans cette année très difficile 2020, pour maintenir leur activité théâtrale et leur activité de résistance culturelle. How despite the cut in the financing of the European Union and SIDA, your main funding source, despite this cut, you are maintaining an activity. The Freedom Theatre is still existing, and I want to ask you, how have you been doing in 2020, which has been a very difficult year for all the world, and especially for you? What have you been doing in Palestine, outside Palestine, with the theater activities and with other activities you have as within the cultural resistance?
You mean 2021?
No.
Anyway.
No. I mean 2020, and then I will ask you your plans for 2021.
Okay. You know, during 2020, all the world faced the same problem, the COVID-19, and the problem it's stopped and closed a lot of important projects. And we failed during 2020 to stop and to close the theater in general. It's not about just related with the money. It's not about just donors and about funding. We talk about the idea of the organization, how can continue, the idea of the Freedom Theater, how can continue among the problem, about the health problem, and what we can bring to the people. What the people they need exactly to think about theater and about culture, if that's important for them or not. You know, the main idea the main project at the Freedom Theater, it was with the French director called Hervé Le Chamal. It's about, it's called Metro Gaza. And not just Metro Gaza, it was the main production at the Freedom Theater 2020. Beside the Freedom Bus, beside different activities with the children, with the youth, the theater school itself, and all of that. Unfortunately, we can't continue by the same and natural way. We try to find another solution. Hervé, he can't stay here. He moved because that's dangerous for him to stay here. And he moved to return to his homeland. And we try from March to end of 2020 to continue and to be in the, to keep the people, keep us in their mind, not lose ourselves and not lose our identity during Corona.
I shall translate. Donc, en 2020, la Covid-19 est devenue le problème principal pour tout le monde, avec des difficultés dans tous les pays. Et pour nous, à Jénine, on a dû interrompre beaucoup de projets, et nous avons même pensé à fermer le théâtre complètement. Pas seulement à cause de questions d'argent, mais aussi à cause de toutes les inquiétudes de la crise sanitaire. Et on se posait la question, la culture, est-ce que c'est aussi si important que ça? Est-ce que c'est la priorité? À ce moment-là, notre projet principal était celui d'un metteur en scène français qui s'appelle Hervé Loichemol, et son projet est intitulé Métro Gaza. Or, ce projet aussi a été bouleversé puisque Hervé ne pouvait pas rester, il a dû rentrer dans son pays, et en mars, on a dû reprendre pour chercher de nouvelles réponses et continuer à exister. OK? Mustafa?
So we try to use the online training, and we continue in our program through online with the kids, with the students in theater school. We screen different plays, old plays of that's protected by the Freedom Theater before years, to put it in for the people to just watch what we did before. And we did that just to inform the people how the theater is important for them, and about some memories. Sometimes maybe the people, they ignore it, but that's important for them if they return to the history and to look for themselves in our plays or in the stories that the Freedom Theater performed before. Not just that, in fact, we decide from June to find something creative, different. And we decide to go to the streets. Depend on philosophy, the Freedom Theater raised it. It's called, if you can't come to the theater will come to you. And for that, we have a new play, street play, it's called The Elephant. And I will tell you about the elephant after Sabine translates.
Great. Donc, on a lancé une formation en ligne, des sessions de formation en ligne, en particulier pour les enfants, en utilisant différentes méthodes, et puis des pièces de théâtre. Notre idée était d'informer les gens, la population, et aussi de stimuler, de faire appel à des souvenirs, de retourner à l'histoire du théâtre, et parce que ces histoires sont importantes. Et puisque les gens ne pouvaient plus venir au théâtre, nous avons dit que le théâtre irait aux gens, irait vers les gens. Et nous avons lancé un programme de théâtre de rue qui a commencé avec l'éléphant. Et maintenant, Mustafa va nous parler de cette réalisation qui s'appelle l'éléphant. Can you go on about the elephant?
The elephant is, I like this play. It's talk about Corona. The elephant we consider, you know, we in Palestine, we don't have elephants. It's from the elephant is a Asian or African animal. It does not live in Middle East in general. And for that, the people, they don't know anything about the elephant. Elephant, it's like animal, and the people, they consider sometimes it's nice elephant. Some people, they consider is a dangerous animal. And for that, the idea depend on the Syrian story from Sa'dallah Wannous, and he wrote about this story. And we did the play in the street. We had like small car, electricity car, and we move in the West Bank through the cities, the villages, the camps, and the people, they said, "What that?" And we use different kind of performing arts, in fact, activities in this play, and the people, they like it. The elephant visited Bethlehem in the main square in the Church of Nativity, and moved to be in Ramallah, in the main street in Ramallah, and in the school in Betunia. Then we moved to be in Nablus with the big audience and around us, and for sure in Jenin and Tul Karem, and the people, they like the idea, and we try to just to provoke the stereotype about the work during Corona. We try to be with the people and discover what the people, they like and their priorities and their problems when we perform something with them. For sure, we try to take care for the health procedures and all the issues related with Corona, but the importance for us to be with the people. And this is the main letter and the main mission of the Freedom Theater, to keep the relationship with the Palestinian people in West Bank and all areas.
Okay, I'll try and translate. This is very important and vital. Alors, l'éléphant, c'est un petit peu comme le corona, c'est quelque chose qui vient d'un autre pays. En Palestine, au Moyen-Orient, on ne connaît pas les éléphants, ça n'est pas un animal local, c'est en Afrique ou en Asie. Est-ce que l'éléphant est gentil ou est-ce qu'il est dangereux? On ne sait pas. Alors, on a repris une pièce. Alors là, Sonia, est-ce que tu connais le nom de l'auteur de la pièce? Je l'ai connu, mais j'ai oublié. En tout cas, une pièce qui existait déjà, une œuvre littéraire. Oui?
Non.
Bon, c'est pas, on peut se renseigner. Donc, on a repris une œuvre déjà existante et on a créé une sorte de spectacle un peu différent autour du déplacement d'un petit véhicule électrique et d'un éléphant qui se déplace dans les villes et dans les camps un peu partout en Cisjordanie. Donc, il y a eu tout un trajet de ville en ville, à Bethléem, à l'église de la Nativité, à Ramallah, à Betula, à Naplouse, à Jénine, évidemment, à Tul Karem. Et partout, les gens ont bien aimé, ils ont apprécié l'éléphant et surtout, ils ont découvert des choses sur eux-mêmes parce qu'à chaque fois, ça donnait lieu à des rencontres, à des débats et c'est ça notre mission, c'est ça la mission du théâtre, du Freedom Theater, du théâtre de la liberté. C'est aussi de cultiver des relations qui permettent aux personnes de découvrir des choses sur eux-mêmes. Bien entendu, pendant tout ce parcours, nous avons respecté les consignes pour éviter une propagation de la maladie. Mais donc stimuler ces rencontres et cette prise de conscience.
I'd just like to ask you a question. In all this moving around Palestine, around the West Bank, did you have any problem to be on the roads? Did you have attacks from the army or from settlers? Did you have any problems? Est-ce que vous avez eu des problèmes pour circuler en Cisjordanie pendant cette tournée avec l'armée ou avec les colons?
In fact, we in this tour we don't have a big problem, but we can't ignore the occupation because if we need to move from here to Bethlehem, for example, that's like from us one day before just to be in Bethlehem, and Bethlehem just far from Jénine, just around 100 kilometers. It's not long distance, but because the occupation, we need to take our care and we need to move before. The idea sometimes here in West Bank, we are under occupation. You don't need to direct attack from the occupation to know the dangers or the problem of occupation. But because we are all the time under occupation, we are under pressure and under all the time we care. We have a problem all the time. We think we will face a problem. For that, we take our care just to protect ourselves and to be out or prevent ourselves and be out of any attack or any abnormal stories, because already we are living in under occupation and under the abnormal life, you know. This is the idea. But in this situation, thanks God, we don't have any problem with the occupation, direct problems with the occupation.
Oui, donc il n'y a pas eu de problème direct, il n'y a pas eu d'agression ou autre, mais ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est qu'il est impossible en Cisjordanie d'ignorer l'occupation et les problèmes qu'elle cause. C'est-à-dire que si, par exemple, on a 100 km à faire, une distance relativement courte, comme entre Jénine et Bethléem, il faut prévoir beaucoup plus de temps parce qu'on ne sait pas ce qui peut se passer. Donc, même sans attaque, même sans incident direct, nous sommes tenus, nous les Palestiniens en situation d'occupation, de toujours nous protéger nous-mêmes et nous organiser pour faire face aux difficultés provoquées par l'occupation.
The connection will be cut within 2 minutes. So if we want to continue, and we do, you should again click on the link, right?
Okay, and if you need if you think I am good in this time, you can change to be with Tobasi.
Well, when we, yeah, okay, if you like, but we still have
just to share, because we can. There's 2 persons who can talk. Yeah.
Okay, but in the 2 minutes remaining, can you tell us? Maybe you want to tell us about your plans for 2021? 2020?
Yeah, I just want to say something before that.
Okay.
2021. In general, we face not just you know, as a Palestine under occupation, we not just face the occupation. We face the occupation, and they try to change the identity and the natural in Jordan Valley, and they take some trying there. Besides that, Corona, and the Corona faced all the world, and the conditional, I mean the political condition in the agreements, in the funding agreements in Palestine. That's really big problem we faced during 2020. We try to make all the negotiation and all the effort to change the European opinion about their thinking about the conflict, about why they want to stand with another party, and they consider us as a terrorist all the time. And they ask us as a cultural organization and NGO to change our relationship with our society just to get their money, and we don't think that's good for all parties. I mean, but that's not stop us in thinking. We have great plan for 2021. I will tell you about that after 1 minute.
Ok. Tu peux traduire?
Oui, oui, oui. Donc, beaucoup de problèmes existent, outre l'occupation, le corona, bien sûr, mais aussi autour des accords de financement. Il faut